There's nothing intellectual here. There's nothing that requires understanding, or there's nothing that can be made, crystal clear, because it's not about knowledge. I sometimes see comments and things on YouTube, and I sort of wonder, like, obviously words are objectified. That's how it seems to be, and meaning is taken from everything. And so when words like this is nothing appearing to happen are used, it can be intellectualized, or they can be taken on to be a way, as if it's an explanation for what this is, that this is nothing appearing to happen. And it's not like then this can be known as nothing appearing to happen. What we're talking about is unbelievably and horribly, let's say, simple, because it appears as simply this talking, hearing, thinking, sounds outside everything. And it also seems to appear as wanting to know it, get it, seek it. And you could say that could be, from a very, very young age, it seems that no matter who you talk to, they know what this is, they know who you are, and mostly they can tell you how to live your life, really. And that sense or feeling of you and who you are and who you're supposed to be or could be, should be, blah, blah, blah. Lots of different outfits are tried on in that kind of effort to get one that fits. And you could say in certain patterns of behavior, but nothing ever really seems to fit for any length of time. And there's always can be a sensitivity with some where life and all the explanations for who you are, for what life is, for how it should be, for better ways to be, none of them seem to hold for too long. And no matter, it seems like we go through different paths and we go down different rabbit holes and we go exploring and seeking and trying to find a way to make our lives better. In essence, really, it's trying to make this better, and that making it better would somehow make it okay. And that's seeking can take a gazillion forms, and there's nothing wrong or right about seeking. It just seems to happen. And there's nothing here about how to live a life or to guide someone so that their life will be better. But in this general story of seeking to make a better life, one of the forms it can take, it seems to be, is spirituality. And that can be very attractive. It seems like something to go towards, especially things like enlightenment, wisdom, and all of the things that appear. They all seem just, well, they seem bloody amazing. All the lights and colors and all that. And for the rare few, it does seem like there's a stumbling upon a communication like this. And in essence, really, at the very, very core of what is being described in these sorts of communications is that life is a complete and utter mystery, and that there isn't you and life, that there's just this boundless arising appearance or mystery or whatever you want to say. That's in the essence of it. But the problem with that, when something like that is volunteered at one of these, is there's a sort of a grappling, because in every other scenario, we're so used to someone who knows that this is a boundless mystery, someone who knows that there isn't me and life, there's just life, someone who knows that. And that's not the case here. In fact, really, you'll notice that whatever way we go this evening, there will be a sort of a return to the total and utter unknowableness of absolutely everything. And in fact, all the knowledge is elsewhere. And this is a meeting where the person organized it doesn't know anything at all and has nothing at all to offer at all. So it's a total mystery. This to me is a total fucking mystery. What an introduction, Jesus! But it's a total mystery. But also it's a total mystery that there might be a question, or there's a total mystery that anything really happens, meeting, no meeting, whatever. It's all a mystery. And it may feel like it's knowable. So let's maybe talk about all that. Let's talk about whatever is there to be talked about. You can't really, there isn't like a clever way to unlock this boundless mystery, because this boundless mystery appears as trying to unlock it. So explain that. So now that that rambling is over, if there are questions there, then let's have a go and see what happens. I suspect most everybody knows how this goes, but if you haven't been here, just, you can put a comment in the chat section, or you can just jump on in and unmute yourself and go for it. Let's see what happens.
Hi, Frank.
Hiya.
I was thinking, I think therapists, people try to know things in therapy, like
Yeah,
why things are the way they are, why people behave the way they do,
yeah.
the whys. And what you said about,
Well, they try to know you, and the problem is there isn't one.
right.
And that's probably at the core. They're trying to fix something that's not there. But there are, whatever. I mean, I'm not. People go to therapy and whatever. They enjoy it, so no problem with that
Yeah.
at all. Yeah,
People like to do spiritual things too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody, so I thought about um, similar to this is nothing appearing to happen. It's just nothing appearing to happen. The other one is, it is what it is.
Mm.
Sometimes you hear it like there's almost like it's a defeat or victimness.
Mm.
Well, it just is what it is.
Yeah,
Whereas, it is what it is, but it's just, it's undescribable too.
yeah. Well. I this idea of having a mantra. Good
Yeah,
luck with that. It's kind of a pale little mantra to sort of live a life by, you know. But you could say saying it is what it is what is. That's
right.
appearing to happen then. But sometimes it can be intellectualized that this is nothing appearing to happen and blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not like then, you see, nothing is imagined to be a thing. And it's
Yes.
like a dull and murky thing that's appearing to happen. It's no thing then. And so then it's sort of like this, or go with boundless everything then. Boundless everything.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It's not that like there's sentences to get hung up on. It's really, as a way to yeah, maybe that was really, it's like, so what, all right, nothing, this is nothing appearing to happen. Okay. Right. It's just that it isn't a mantra to live a life by, really, is all.
Yeah, it seems like a blanket to wrap in.
Yeah. Yeah. But like if without it really isn't an explanation. It's not
No.
an explanation, yeah, for this sort of arising conversation, a live conversation. It's like it's just words then. It doesn't matter. No words matter. It is hearing and talking and the thoughts, and it's like constantly sliding down a slide in the sense where it's the thoughts, it's the feelings, it's just everything. And there isn't a landing and there isn't start to the slide. Well, and there isn't really a slide at all. There isn't anything, but it's just every time, really what's mostly wanted is the brain or whatever just wants to know it. And then the sentence, there's nothing that can be done with this, is nothing appearing to happen at all, really. And then it's either intellectualized or dismissed, but it's sort of a kind of it's like the wind blowing through the house. It's sort of like there's nothing to hold on to with it, really, even though I've noticed it can be intellectualized. So the brain really can't do anything too much with it.
No.
It's like already there is no self. It's just the brain can't fathom that, because how can it be fathomed? So then all that goes out the fucking window. It's all, there isn't non-duality. There isn't any getting closer or further away to this inescapableness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lady that would always say, God willing and the creek don't overflow. Have you ever heard that?
Say that again?
God willing and the creek don't overflow.
No, I haven't. God willing and the creek don't overflow.
And whenever there was something like that she was hoping for, she'd say, God willing and the creek don't overflow.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's really nice to have no hope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all these, there's lovely expressions. If it's for you, it won't pass you, all this sort of thing. It's so what?
Yeah.
Um, I think most of all, you see, it's like mostly it's doctrine. Mostly out there, it's sort of a a way to be. It's like somebody's got it, or somebody knows, and they're prescribing something. And it sort of jars. I think instinctively it sort of jars, but it's like that's the nature of the way things are. And here in this sort of gathering, there isn't anything special, or but then that can be imagined as, oh, nothing special. Then everything is special. Picking up the dog shit is special. God, I always say that. But it's like, it's always these imaginations. And whatever way it goes, it's imagined. Sentences are taken on as concepts. But it's like, this falling into everything. It's like desperate for one sentence to make this all safe and noble. And so then oh, this is just nothing appearing to happen. So that's not really a safe place, you could say, because it's so flimsy and useless, you know. So there then isn't a safe ground. There's no anchor in all of this. No part that's noble at all. And if there was someone going around orchestrating and doing everything, that actual reality would be such a thumping box on the head because the self imagines that they're doing absolutely everything. Apart from they
You
just
know,
sort of they corner off that they're not doing the breathing, that somehow seems to be okay. Or the nails growing or the hair, all those sorts of things, they kind of go, oh yeah, whatever, well, I get that. But is certain that they're doing the thinking and the choosing.
I
That's
know.
certain of that, certain. And that's but it's the same. It's the same, just thinking happening. That's why nothing happens. Even a
Right.
tiny inch, and then we're back in the game of knowing. So that's why it's just so fucking ordinary. And I can see sometimes I just look at it, I go, this drives people fucking nuts. Sometimes I can see it drives them absolutely insane. It's like, oh yeah, fuck, rah, rah, rah. All right, okay, that's it. And some people go, well, it's amazing. Some people just go, well, that's a lot of bullshit. Uh, Most people I know, no questions, ever, 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 ever. Stop. Don't say another word. Stop. So
Yeah,
really,
same here.
it is the rare. It's sort of rare, But anyway, yeah.
Good. That was a nice surprise. You came on today.
Yeah. It was bank holiday Monday. Should have said it out yesterday, but
Right. You're
fuck's
calling.
sake. Mm.
Some of us still have the scars and the hangovers to prove it was indeed a bank holiday Monday.
Oh yes, still echoes. Yes, still echoes, Emily.
I
Mm.
woke up this morning, I was like, fucking hell, it's worse than it was yesterday.
Yeah. Now, if you were liberated, properly liberated, there'd be no hangovers at all. It'd be pure, just whatever.
Or I would just be able to accept the hangover. I wouldn't need any
That's
paracetamol. I'd be like, I'm one with
Start.
the pain.
It'd be just the hangover, and it wouldn't really be that bad. It'd be just, yeah.
My other half said, oh, I knew you were still drunk yesterday. That's why you feel even worse today. You seem like you were drunk. I was like, oh, did I really? So I suffered double. Thank you.
Oh,
I was looking to the clouds today, and the wind was blowing, and there were changes in forms,
Hmm.
and in a way, it looks amazing. But that's also normal. It's also normal. It's amazing and normal.
Hmm.
There's nothing to say about this.
It seemed like that.
Yeah.
Hmm. Just looking at the clouds and enjoying the clouds. That's what's happening. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amen. In a sense, this is, it's not even in a sense really, it is so incredibly ordinary. It seems like it would be incredibly ordinary because there's a movement for towards something other than this. And somehow this ordinariness of hearing a voice, sitting on a chair or couch or wherever, it can be felt that it's I know it, and that knowing it's like it makes it seem okay somehow, that and that okayness can become a little bit well, it can distort into horribleness, let's just say, or something else, seeking maybe. But all the while, it's like there's this, and this is flowery sort of language, but there is this sort of embrace of absolutely everything. So it is suddenly this sitting on a chair and a question perhaps arising, or a thought appearing, or a comment, or a feeling, or sound, and that's the ordinariness that at the same time is sort of extraordinary, or because it is sort of a phenomenality, like this incomparableness of just simply what is. We're so used to it being described as life and noble life, and here for a moment this sort of childlikeness, like when a child doesn't know the world, doesn't know that they're little Johnny or little Mary or little whoever, doesn't know anything. And it's assumed because in this world that there's so much apparent authority, and the currency of apparently being alive is knowing. And it's almost the language of existing. And, I know what this is. And yet all the while, all that knowledge, all that information, it's like the rich man, it's like the parable that it just becomes so heavy, like a tight bag of rocks, me and my life and all the knowledge that I have. And all of it still lends itself to a sort of dissatisfaction. And yet all the while, this embrace is appearing as everything, sitting, talking, and this is the storyless inexplicableness. And it's no further away. It's not then that you just can be held on to or known. It's just there isn't anything in there that can hold on to a iota of anything. And if there was, it would rapidly become stale and back in the known, and it's almost like entering the gates of hell. It's like I have it, oh, I've lost it, and oh, it's not quite what I remember, and oh, rah, 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 and it's always in reference to. Whereas this fresh aliveness is just simply just this talking and the thoughts and the but, and it's so. Yeah.
it does get so dull that then the knowing, the
It is a freshness and a
yeah,
newness that appears as if this is fucking all dull. This
because
is also, yeah.
I described it as going into somebody's playhouse. It's just boring. It's just, ugh. It's not fresh. It's not new. It's just some. It's just some. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Well, I mean, you see, also this a newness or freshness, it does appear like also it's stale. Oh, it's fucking, I'm bored out of my brains, or I'm whatever. Maybe not bored out of my brains, but you know what I mean? It can be I'm really pissed off or
Yeah,
tired, or it's just that it sort of can't be held as anything at all. And that's the freshness. It's the freshness that appears as feeling pissed off
or scared out of your mind.
or scared out of your mind, yeah. It's just that there isn't anything inside that can hold life. You know, it's like sort of there seems to be a kind of a rigidity. There can be just a look of trying to hold it. It's like trying or wanting it to, needing it to be a certain way, to fix it into, it should be like this, it should be like that. And that can be how it is. But I suppose this a newness is falling and appearing as everything. And that's the thing that's not wanted. It's I want the freshness and the newness that is sparkly and happy. That's that I want that a newness. I don't want the shit one. You know.
Yeah,
So then, but then we're back in the game of trying to make this into something.
yeah,
And to be in a certain way, because we've heard imaginations, and we see imaginations of a perfect life that's lived in a beautiful way, and that's pure and utter imagination. It's like, you know, you just have to look at a flower that's withering in the garden, and that seeing of the flower withering into old and dying, you could say the flower is not as beautiful anymore because it's lost that beautiful, it's starting to wither. But also it's just the flower withering. And so it's both, you know, so it's like it is as everything. But I think we're lived and life is painted everywhere you go about how you can get that life of yours and do a fucking great job of it and make the best of it. And that's the predominant sort of way things are. Whereas, and that is your life and you can make it better. But what part can you exactly hold on to or do?
and whose life is it?
Hmm?
Whose life is it?
Well, what's life even? It's
Yeah,
sort of like, and then all the while, like, still the dishwasher gets emptied and life just appears to happen, and you know, it all just seems to go on, and the thoughts go on. It's everything and the thoughts. So, what to do with all that then? So it's a holistic unconditionalness, but it's not like then there can be somebody in there who's doing a great job of holistically, unconditionally accepting the wholeness of life. That would be back in it. Be pretty heavy, all of that also, to try and balance it for someone.
yeah. It's hard to behave.
It's hard to behave.
To behave, yeah.
Yeah, what do you mean?
It's well, it just sounds like there's a lot of trying to do something to be patient and peaceful, and there's nobody doing it. I mean,
There's nobody, yeah, nobody's trying to be patient, but maybe, you know,
the idea that a person, that there's somebody, that there's a life, there's a being that can do something like that.
that tries to be patient.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, you see, though, but also trying to be patient can be what's appearing to happen. It's like, you know, I need to not lose the plot here. I
Yeah.
need to not
Yeah.
be really impatient with such and such there now, you know.
That's
But
that's
that's the
kind of
thing.
mean.
There isn't anything orchestrating this puppety character thing that's happening. So then it's trying to be patient until, you know, then it's patience stops. Or maybe there's a quick fire reaction, or maybe it's, you know, shouting inappropriately and kind of going, okay, and maybe reflecting on something would be, okay, maybe sorry about that now. I was, you know what I mean? It's just that there's already no one driving the dream bus. You know, that like nobody's smirking. But you see, it's almost imagined that nobody's a somebody. There is
Yeah.
already no one in there. So you could say it's a sort of relaxation, but let's imagine then that it's good. It's a relaxation that appears as tension, as whatever the fuck.
Why can't it just all be appreciation and kindness?
Yeah, it's kind of like saying, yeah, why can't it all be just beautiful? In a
Yeah.
sense. But also you could say, you know, it's that example of the withering flower sort of is outrageously stunning at the same time. So it's just, it's like trying to bind this into a thing that's beautiful. So it's like, and that vision, let's say, of what beauty is not apparently the same as what this bald, bespeckled sees as beautiful. And so then it's always trying to kind of squeeze it or make it into a thing that should be a certain way. So then it's not exactly free then, free to be everything. And this is a sort of an unconditionalness. And it's not an image of unconditionalness.
Yeah. Tony and others have talked about like the crisis of the me and how there's so much anger, going on the planet, if we could put it that way. And that's where, practice runs up against theory, because I totally embrace the idea that, it's like you said, unconditional and free, and everything. And this message has really blown apart, the desire to sit in tranquility forever. But there's still seems to be like this disproportionate negativity, which is so hard to to tolerate in a way. And then it's, you know, yeah, it just seems like tragic or something, or just uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, if you're scrolling through social media, it does seem like it's gargantuanly like that, like you described there, negative or whatever. And it's just it depends on the storyline, really. It's like, you know, so there's a gazillion storylines, a gazillion, zillion storylines. Seems to be appearing, and there might be a shared one that's on the news, and then there's family ones and town ones and friends ones, and just a gazillion of them. There's just so many, I couldn't keep track. But I mean, as far as social media goes, it does seem to be, you know, Twitter is it's great, but also it seems to be a bit of a crazy zone for all that too, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I guess, yeah, I just feel it's really been difficult to defend a lovely storyline, but that's, you know,
To defend a storyline.
like that is innocent in a way.
Well, you see, innocence, though, really, let's say this conversation, this meeting, there is, I mean, forgetting all the narratives in the world now, just for a moment, just this talking now, there's a sort of a utter innocence, but now it's not this sort of, it's an innocence about even what innocence is. It's not like then innocence is known as innocence, but there's a sort of a sort of childlike is the wrong, but you know, this immediately talking and hearing a voice without all the narratives and all the life and how it should be and all that. It's a sort of innocence to this, and that innocence really is there when you look at kids or dogs or birdies or the grass, the trees, or whatever. And mostly this conversation is totally rejected. That life is a total boundless mystery. Everybody knows what this is. They know there's a thing called me, even. And but it's so underlying this innocence. And I hate fucking, the word is kind of an odd word, but you know, this simplicity. And I think really that's what's wanted most, what's wanted to be talked about most.
Yeah, yeah.
This and it's sort of rare then, and yet you'd imagine this common, let's say, aliveness, this sort of mystery would be the predominant sort of conversation going, fucking look at the
Yeah,
clouds, look at the clouds. What's
right.
the isn't blue a great choice for a
Yeah,
sky? But it seems like the whole thing is known and everybody's running around but it's just that there isn't anyone that can do or not do that. That's just how it seems to be, you know. If there was something, then it could be that was known, it could be imparted to someone else about this, but there isn't. So
interesting.
it's
Yeah,
just this, it is a sort of total and utter mystery. And it's a mystery about what mystery is, though, also. It's not like then this can be known as mystery. Nothing is knowable. So then the world goes on being busy, and you could say that seems to be how it is. And this sort of gatherings are rare. Maybe they're less rare, though, really. I don't know. But it's not special or better or anything. But it's like for the rare, unfortunate few, there seems to be a drawnness to this. People call it resonance. I don't know what it is really. It's just appearing to happen. Meetings like this.
Yeah.
And asking that question is the same as this response. It's the same mystery. And it's like, what the fuck, like? Oh.
Yeah, really good talking to you.
Thank you. The mystery can seem familiar. Then it's this appearing as it feels like it's familiar. So you can't do that or not do that. Like you can't think a thought, feel a feeling, or that arising that this seems familiar. So you're not doing anything at all. What do you fucking think about that? So then there's nothing wrong or right, lad. You know?
Can't you just agree?
It would have to be something to agree upon. But then it would be something that could be agreed upon. It can
Right.
appear as
And then
disagreeing.
we'd know something. Then we'd know something.
Yeah. Oh, it's like this then. All right. Well, I don't know. You know, it's like it'd be like going, oh, I've got it. It'd be all right. Okay. I've lost it. Right. Okay. That's what's happening then. You know, it's just if it could be gotten and held on to, it would be a thing that could be gotten and held on to, and you could be there, you know, doing it like. And then that's the straitjacket almost of, oh right, I've got it now, and I go off and share it. I go off and two meetings. But he's back in the stale. It's like a fruit that you have, and the fruit sort of then, you know, evaporates or gets stale and old. I am a thought. Let's comment there. That's what you're saying. Um, I am a thought. That's what I seem to be, a thought arising right now. Yeah. Well, like if that's what's felt, um, it's how do you do that? How do you do that? I am a thought thing. How do you do that resolution with that? That just seems to be how what's happening then. And it's like, you know, is that supposed to be of significance? It's like, is this I significant, am is significant, and a thought is significant, and that they mean something. So there isn't really a place to hang your hat as I am a thought. Sorry about that. There isn't safe ground at all, really. And so thought can try and do its very best with finding a little anchor or safe place, but there isn't really that. My body doesn't react well to the idea of no anchor. There isn't safety, but if you had to do anything or not do anything about this, and if you were there, then it would be a problem. Because this gargantuanness of breathing, hearing a voice, sounds, cells, seeing, this appearing, arising, happening, appearance. If you were in there having to do all this, sure, it should be fierce difficult, as they say, but you don't have to do or not do anything, because already you're not in there doing anything. So it's not safe then. It's imagined, and that's why, you know, when at the very start when I was talking, it's like sort of intellectually there can be sentences like that, you know, oh, this is nothing appearing to happen, or rah, 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 that'll make somehow it's they're like sentences used to anchor this and make it all safe and knowable. Then sure, I know this is nothing appearing to happen. You don't need to tell me that. I know that. Well, I don't know that. So yeah, and really that's the free fall, that there isn't a safe place for all this. But like thankfully you don't need to do anything or not do anything. It's like, you know, some people in the imagination of death, like death on the deathbed, people do think about will they die, how to die well, and how did they do it? Well, I mean, the good news and the bad news is you didn't do the being born thing, and you didn't do one moment of anything. And so, I mean, worrying will happen about that, whatever, but you don't need to do that either. So everything is just happening. There's no way to this inescapable fucking aliveness. There's no way into it or out of it. It's just this then. It's just this simplicity. It's just all those concepts and thoughts trying to make it into something and squeeze it into some sort of explanation. At the same time, it finds that there's a repellent to that it can be known. And so it can't be known. So see, like really, this is dangerous. You know, it's described as, you know, you can come to the point where it's I know this non-duality thingy me cheeky. And I know what he's going to say, and I know what's going to happen, and that's in a sort of a way, a kind of a way to try and make it all safe. So I don't know what non-duality is. I don't know what knowing is. I don't know anything at all, and that's the sort of, this is danger zone. This is total. There's nothing here. It's not a safe space, really. But that which love is knowing and getting. So the moment there's a kind of a sense of, oh well, I can know this is nothing appearing to happen. Sure, that's just another dream. Then another way to make this safe. Run for your life. Well, that's terrifying. Well, it's also just so totally ordinary, sitting, hearing a voice, feelings in the body. There can be imagination then of, all that can happen. But there's nothing behind all that. There's nothing holding any of that together. So well, you see now, it doesn't need to be remembered. It's just, there's a comment there. It's freeing but hard to remember. So if it was something that could be remembered, or it doesn't need to be, it is forgetting, because what would it be then if it could be remembered? We'd be back in the game of words. So that's the newness, that it's hard to, it's immediately, inescapably whatever is. So feeling terrified can be this or whatever. Making the dinner. Yeah, it's the damnedest thing. It is the damnedest thing. Yeah. And that's this damnedness, because it's like trying to constantly get it and put it in a box and make it noble, bound by some words. And it's like, oh, I've got it, this is nothing appearing to happen, or I've got it, there's no self, or I've got it. So there is no sentences at all will hold this. Thankfully. Then you're back in knowing. There is, it's not safe though. It feels safe as there is no expectation or rule. Okay, yeah. Yeah. There's no authority at all. Now there's apparent authority out there in the world, but there isn't authority. Not really. It's all just story. And that can be this, you see, mostly there's this wanting specialness, and yeah. It's strange that I think I get anything from this, because you're describing it as the opposite of what I want, which is safety and peace and quiet. Well, that's normally the postcard for what that's offered. That's the advertisement for these sorts of, not this sort of thing, but normally it's sought after, that idea of peace and bliss and wisdom and tranquility and love and joy and all that. But it's sort of sought after, and also there's something off about it too, that that life then would have to be a certain way then, that it would have to fit into a story or a structure of safety and peace and quiet. So, but I think mostly, really, most everywhere, it's imagined that something will be gotten. That's how it is in most meetings. And then in this sort of thing, and like, you see, this is so totally, even though it's imagined that there might be something that can be gotten, because it's also so utterly beyond the words. This, like, it really, really is so utterly beyond the words. Because if it was just about the few sentences of there is no self and this is whatever, then the whole thing would be over. It'd be okay. Thanks for that. I get it. I can move on now, and I understand the whole thing. So whereas there's just nothing in that, and so then there's a sort of it seems like a sort of a push and pull, and it's described as resonance. It's as good as word as any. I would just say it's what's appearing to happen, is energetically drawn to this, and it's there might be a whole grappling and story going on about getting this nothing thing that he's talking about, or I know there's nothing to get, but oh, it's all just fucking story. It's just either coming to a meeting or not. That's it. Like, and there isn't. Well, it's also apparent that there's there's nothing to get. It can quickly become apparent. Nothing needs to happen and doesn't. Nothing happens, yeah. If there's one tiny hair touched on the head, almost, it's like it's just something gotten. And yeah, I think that's something had. So it's absolutely nothing at all. It's often. I watched the interview of you in 2016 with Tony Parsons, and you seemed just like me, scared, confused, and wanting. What happened? Nothing. So absolutely, there was appearing to be confused, annoyed, laughing, wanting to fucking run a million miles from. At one point, it was absolutely wanting to run a million miles and almost disentangle from all of this sort of thing. But it's just like, it's just what appeared to happen, somehow being drawn to this communication. And that took the form of, going to talk to Tony and all that. But that's just what appeared to happen. There was nothing good or bad about that. And it's sort of like totally and utterly the opposite of, in a sense, what, just as you described, what someone like a businessy sort of dude that's into making money would have done. But all the explanations in the world are just ridiculous. It's just what appeared to happen. And it's the same there, suddenly being interested with this sort of thing. That's just what appeared to happen. Wanting your life back now. To unhear all this. Well, yeah, it's just the comment there. Yeah, I really wish I hadn't heard it, but also addicted to it. Well, actually, you never heard a thing. So, and that's not being obtuse or whatever. There isn't you in there that can hear this. It's just hearing. So nothing happens then. So it's like it's the exact same when if the seeking in the questions and all that fall away, and you can't do a question or not do a question, but questions arise. You can't do seeking or not seeking, but seeking appears to happen. And it's just what appeared to happen then, you know. And it sort of could be like that, listening to any kind of meeting that comes along. Oh, fuck, a new meeting. Let's listen to that. And there's like, that's why it's wonderful in a sense that it's so beyond all the words and all the sentences. And it can't be explained really. There can be a kind of an imagination, but like, Frank seems to have got something though, otherwise he just wouldn't be holding a meeting, you know. So it's just appearing to hold a meeting then, and it's like that there asking a question and seeking or whatever the fuck. It's the exact same. It's just sort of resonating with this. You could say it's like it's this a rising mystery appears as asking a question and responses. So in other words, this like just this arising mystery.
It's funny then.
Okay.
It's funny that there's no one here, but it's still happening for no one.
It's, you see, even like the still happening thing is like like if you were in there and you could get this, then you'd know what to do with this when you've got it. But what can be done with this? It's like there just have to be someone in there already that could get this, and then that could fall away. So there isn't a self that can fall away. So what's it like? It's already the case, like. Nothing needs to be done, nothing needs to be seen, nothing. Yeah. Nothing can be done with this, really. I mean, there can be the attempt to imagine what can be done, or, I'm just going to do this then, or I'm just going to do that, or I'm just going to. It's all just rah, 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 rah. Just, it's totally, it is sitting on the chair, breathing, and every single thought, everything that you can't do this or not do it. It's just. So it's the great, you could say, equalizer, because there's no specialness, there's no hero's journey, all that, you know. What you get is life. You just don't get to get it. Isn't that wonderful?